Hi guys, welcome back to the Miller Nigerians YouTube channel. My name is Emily and today I wanted to go over some back end clipping of our goats. So this is part of our kidding prep slash kidding playlist series, whatever you really want to call it. This is a part of that. So the first thing that I wanted to go over is the fact that this is completely optional. You don't have to shave up their back ends. Some people do, some people don't. I like to personally. We've just found that it keeps them cleaner, and when they do get some gunk in their hair, it's a lot easier to clean out because it's shorter hair instead of, you know, big long hairs on them. So if you do decide that you want to trim up their back ends, the first thing you're going to need is a pair of clippers, of course. What you use doesn't really matter. I really like my A5 models, so I've got a pair of Oster Classics, Oster A5 Turbos, and then I just bought a pair of Andes to try out. These are all A5 models, and all of their blades are interchangeable, which is one thing that I really like about those kinds of clippers. I use a number 7 blade. I believe that is 3/8 of an inch long. But you can definitely go and check. Just look up size 7 clipper blade length, and you can cross-reference that to whatever brand that you're using. You don't have to use a number 7. If it's a little bit colder where you're at, you can use something longer, probably closer to like a 5 or a 4 blade. I have used a 5. That works just as well. I just tend to prefer my 7. And it's starting to warm up here, so like 30s and 40s during the day, and you know, only 20s and 30s at night. So the 7 is appropriate for us currently. I additionally like to use a 10 on the actual udder, and that's only because I'm nosy and I like to see what's going on there as far as udder development. Not mandatory. You can use the same blade that you're using everywhere else on the udder for this pre-kidding clip. Shows are going to be different, of course, but for right now it doesn't really matter. Nobody's judging you on your fitting. And then the last thing that you are going to need is blade coolant. So this is the Oster Cool Lube. I've used this and the Andes Pro Cool. They're both fine. I haven't used Wall. I believe they made one, but I haven't used it. I don't think, again, brand doesn't really matter a ton when it comes to this. This is just to cool your blades down, and most of them are also a lubricant, which, you know, is going to help your clippers run smoother. But they do get hot, so that's why you're going to have to, you know, potentially cool them down. If you're just doing back end clips, you might not have to, depending on how many you're doing. But if you're shaving an entire goat, you're definitely going to need that. And then I don't have enough to need it, but I also have like a pig face brush that I use to sweep out the hair from my clippers and from my blades. Another additive thing that I like, you can use a toothbrush, doesn't really matter, just something to get that hair out from in your clipper blades. But no, let's actually get into some of the clipping. Okay, so we're here on the milk stand now. You can't see my face, but I have a doe up. This is Catcall. She was one of the more cooperative does last year, so let's hope that still stands today. So the first thing that I've done is just give her some grain to keep her company, or to keep her busy. So I have my 7 blade. This is my 7 wide, so it is wider than a normal blade. That's fine. You can use a regular blade or wide, it doesn't really matter. So I'm going to turn my clippers on, and the first part that I'm going to go ahead and do is the back of her thigh, and I'm going to go on the inside, this back ridge here, and then a little bit onto the side. So we'll start with that, and after we get done with that, we're going to go a little bit up over the rump, not going too crazy there, and then you can either take the same blade and do their udder, or do a shorter blade like a 10. I wouldn't really recommend doing a 40 when it's still getting kind of cold. So I'd stick with the 10 for now anyway, for the colder months. But once it warms up, you're more than welcome to shave as short as you want to go on the udder. I'm going to go ahead and turn the clippers on. This is on low. I'm just going to go ahead. It's okay, Cat. Go ahead and trim right up the back here. like this. Go ahead and make sure you're going slow with them. Some girls, especially when they're pregnant, have a really big grudge against the clippers. They're not huge fans of it. So I just go with their pace. It's okay, Kat. Excuse me. Okay. So you can see that I've got some of her thigh here. I've done a lot of the outside. I've gotten on the inside. And this is her udder here. So now what we're going to do is come right up this rump. And you're not going to go, like I said, you're not going super crazy on this rump. Majority of the mess is going to be below here. So just go ahead, a little bit on the rump. Alright, now, again, this isn't a beauty pageant, again, so you're really not being judged on how good this looks. It's a kidding clip. It never really looks that great, if I'm being completely honest. So, seriously, don't worry about if it's ugly or anything. Just functionality is what we're going for. So, I also like to trim up their tail hair a little bit. So, go ahead, again, with your 7 blade. Like you would for a show, just clean up those long tail hairs. You don't have to go, again, don't gotta go crazy with this. Just kind of, less hair is better, I've noticed. So there you go, tail's cleaned up. So I'm gonna go ahead and off camera shave this other leg, and then we'll come back when we're ready to do her udder. Okay, so now we've gotten both legs down. I'm going to go ahead and, again, either you can change out your blade for a shorter blade, or you can leave it the same one. So I'm going to show you what it looks like when you use the same blade, and then I'm also going to show you what it looks like when you use a shorter blade. So, again, this doesn't have to be perfect. Main goal is just to get the hair off so it's less of a mess when they kid. So turn the clippers on again. And some does are not going to like this. But like I said, Kat is one of our better does when it comes to clipping. So you're just really just getting the hair off. There's not really a science to it right now. Show clipping, again, much different than this. Alright, so that, okay, so this is a clip with just the 7 blade, and you can see if all you want to do is clean them up and make them look, you know, decent for when they kid, this is great. Again, I don't always even use the 10, but I know if I'm going to be, I don't know, like photographing a pre-fresh udder, I will sometimes consider using the 10. The 10, measurement-wise, isn't actually a whole lot shorter than the 7 blade. So it's probably not even really necessary. But I also know that my 10 blade is a normal-sized blade compared to my wide blade. So it makes it easier to just kind of, again, get more of the nooks and crannies. But if you wanted to leave it at this point, you absolutely could. This is a very standard kidding clip, but I just sometimes like to go the extra mile for those that I'm super nosy about. You know, if I want to be really watching some of those attachments or other things. Pre-freshes aren't super, like, reliable judge, I should say, of a doe's udder. They change a lot, but again, it's all just personal preference. So this is what it looks like with a 10 blade. Oops. Same deal. Like I said, there's not really that big of a difference between the blade lengths. Okay, so I just did right up the medial here, and I'll bring you in closer. I just came right up the medial here, and on video, like, you really can't even tell a difference. In person, there's a very slight difference. This was the 10 blade, this is the 7 blade. So again, not a super huge difference in terms of length. So just to make this dough even, I am going to go ahead and trim up the other side with a 10 blade. Okay, so there you go, and I'll get, again, a close-up of the entire thing. So here we are now. Again, kitten clips are not the most beautiful thing. She's got a lot of cashmere that, you know, doesn't trim up super well. It's sort of choppy when you trim it. So here you go. You can just kind of see, again, the main gist is really just to get a bunch of hair off here. So you can see even on the inside of her legs, we trimmed up, lifting up that tail. But that's pretty much a basic kitten clip. There's not a whole lot more to it than that. Not everybody goes above the rump. I haven't always, but it's not something that I hate doing. I'll put it that way. Anyway, I hope this video was useful, and I hope to be posting some more in our kitting playlist. If you're watching this in the future, definitely go check that out, as I'm sure there are plenty of videos in there by now.